Hey everyone, welcome to our first podcast for Public Nuisance Number One. I am Public Nuisance Number One, Terry. Glad you can join us. I've got some good news for you. The good news is I'm not able to actually go live with this. I have to record it, and the reasoning behind that is because uh, uh, YouTube and TikTok, neither one of them will let me go longer than 10 minutes. And as much as I screw around, I'm going to need a lot longer than 10 minutes. Now, they'll let me go longer once I have enough people sharing and whatever my podcast. Um, so I need you to, as you're looking at this on either one of those two, you need to share it, you need to like it, and you need to whatever the hell else you're supposed to do. I don't know. I'm too damn old for this. So, but anyway, that's the good news. The bad news is I'm going to do it anyway. So here we go. Uh, uh, the first uh, item up for bid today is we're going to talk today about team building. And the reason I wanted to talk about team building is because, well, let's put it this way. Nothing says kill me now like team building. And those of you that have been in the mix, you understand. You know those special days, that takes you away from your usual little box of business, or either you're typing away or you're working out the plant or whatever the hell you're doing, and somebody from HR walks up to you and says, "Hey, listen, I want you to be part of this team building thing that event that we're going to have," and 9 times out of 10, these are usually like a day or two worth of events, but every once in a while you'll get a company who derives from the devil and decides that we can do this in a whole week. Let's do this for a week. So they'll pull you away from your normal stuff, and there they are. They you show up. The room is 9 times out of 10. It's colder than shit, and most of the people in the room are hungover or whatever. Chances are they're really not into it. But that's the atmosphere that starts the day. Okay, that starts the first day, and you'll always have somebody up at the front of the room, and that's typically somebody from HR. We'll start the game, and everybody kind of gets a feel for what's going on. So um, let's back up a little bit. I was I was involved in one of these. Oh gosh, I want to say it was back in the early uh, uh, 2000s, and and I didn't know what to expect. I'd never been to one of these before, and I knew I was going to be in a room full of people whom I didn't know, and then I'd look at the list of names that who was going to be involved in this thing, and come to the realization that not only are there people there who I don't know, there's people there who I don't like, and that's what's gonna happen to most of you if you ever get called into one of these. So a word of warning: always look at the list so you could prepare your mind for what you're walking into. Because if you see, usually it's going to be like the people that are going to be involved are going to have somebody from HR, obviously. You're going to have somebody from finance, you're going to have somebody from the plant. You're going to have somebody who stinks like cheese. You're just going to have all these different people that are going to be in the room. But it's important to know who's going to be there before you get there, because if you find out that Bob from inventory is going to be there, and you don't like Bob, and so you got to set your mind straight. You got to be prepared, because the first thing you want to do is you don't want to be the first person there. You want to make sure that you're like one of the last people, because you walk in the door, you're going to see, where's Bob sitting? I don't want to be anywhere near that asshole, So you find out where he's sitting. So good, I'm going to sit way over there. That way, I won't get picked, to be in a group with that idiot. So use your head. Use your head prior to going into one of these deals. The other thing you can do is you could call in sick. People do that. They'll wait to the day of, and they'll call in and say, geez, man, you're not going to believe this thing I got, and it's contagious, and I hear people actually die from this, and so they'll let you out of it. And that works. Sometimes it works. I wouldn't try that all the time, because they're going to call you up for another one. So you could try that, but I suggest that you go ahead and just get this one out of the way. Just join and get in there and get it out of the way. There's these events are stupid. They're just plain stupid. They're what they're trying to do is they're trying to take a day, 2, or even a week, and they're trying to get people who make $15 an hour and $25 an hour and $7.50 an hour, or whatever. Get them all in one room and try to all those people try to come up with these ideas, and that'll improve the company. So if you're one of those ones that are making minimum wage with the company, or one that's making like $15 an hour or whatever, my suggestion to you, and especially to you too, is go in with a sense of joy, because you're out of your usual job, and now you're in a position where you could irritate the shit out of a whole room full of people at $7.50 an hour, $15 an hour. I mean, you can't beat that. That's just almost like free entertainment. So keep that part in mind. Excuse me. So usually the HR person will take over the group and start dealing out these responsibilities to everyone else, because, well, there will be training to push these responsibilities to others while they sit back and they eat cheese string or whatever, and you have to say something during these little powwows, so they don't think that you're some dumbass with and you were just a sympathy hire, So you got to say something, try to make it somewhat intelligent, just enough so that they can move on to the next person and leave you alone. So you got to work that. You have to be prepared for things like that. Okay. And if you're like me, you're eventually going to drift off into some other la la land where you're riding naked on a horse, on a beach somewhere or something. Just keep that to yourself if that happens. It's a good idea to keep that to yourself. There's other things you need to keep to yourself if you're anywhere, anything like me. But let's go to the meat of this phenomenon known worldwide as what I like to call it anyway, Satan's little war room. And that's exactly what it is. You're stuck in this room with a bunch of people, some you don't know, some you don't like. And you might like somebody in there, but 9 times out of 10, they're not paying any attention to you because they already know you're a dumbass. So they're probably going to stay clear of you. So, oh, and by the way, you need to start taking notes here while we're doing this, okay? And keep in mind, even though when this goes on air, it won't be live, but I still want to see names and comments down here, and don't forget all this other shit you got to do along here, okay? So that's just a side note for everybody. So let's get back on track. The corporate world here in the good old US of A has a problem with what we call time and profit. Every organization that you could think of, they have this problem with time and profit. And they'll study every aspect of their business to look for ways to save money. The time part is, of course, part of that. All right. It usually involves, low lives who work for them and then everybody else. I always get a kick out of the guy that comes in from finance. That person's hilarious because they bring out the old laptop and they got all the fancy shit going on and everything. And of course you're sitting over there with your Etch-a-Sketch trying to figure out what page you're on. I've been there. So if you're lucky enough to be chosen to sit with other people that you never talk to, eventually you'll come to the realization that you are there to find a way for the corporate henchmen to rid the premises of your job and maybe the person who works closely with you every damn day. That's what these are. Now they try to tell you that these are people building things, and they're not, because what they do is they sit upstairs on the 4th floor or whatever, and the CEO will call in, his buddies and say, hey, we need to figure out how to make more money off of this, because the stockholders are, they want more money. They need more money. I mean, there's a lot of money that goes into paying for fuel on those Humvees that they buy and those vacations that they take and stuff like that. So help me figure this out. I can't. I'm looking at our spreadsheets here, and man, I just can't find it. And then one of the one of the equal assholes that are in the room there, they'll pipe up and say, hey, I got an idea. Let's pull a bunch of clowns from down there on the floor and logistics and sales and all those other departments, and let's let them come up with some ideas for us, because I mean, hell, you put a whole bunch of heads together that never think of this shit, they might come up with an idea. So that's where this came from. That's where this whole idea came from. Now you'll hear people lie to you and tell you things, that this is a program that started years ago as a continuous improvement type of deal, and of course the Japanese, they call that Kaizen, and I think they do is because just between you and I, they talk funny. So let them have that, okay? But it's a continuous improvement type of event is really what these turns out to be. That's not what they not turn out to be. So if you're lucky enough to be chosen to sit in one of these deals, then hey, good, I guess. Don't don't take it to heart, but they're going to go around the room. They're going to make you go around the room. By the way, this is another thing. You're going to go around the room, and everybody has to say who they are, where they're from, what their job is. They got a dog, they got a cat, with their family, talk about their family and stuff like that. And that gets around to you. Just tell them the truth. You grow weed in your basement and make a pretty good profit, but still have to work here to make ends meet. So be honest with them. Tell them who you really are. So the team building, it started out as an idea that needs to be improved for the company, and you are, excuse me, you are expected to come up with all these ideas. So previously to this event, here's some homework for you. Previously to this event, I don't care what the event is about. This one happens to be team building. But I want you to just dream up all kinds of stupid comebacks, that way at the end of the week, they'll remember your comebacks and your comments, and then they'll never call you on one of these ever again. That's the key. So think about that. So say, for example, they go around the room and they get to you and say, "Hey, Terry, tell us a little bit about yourself." Well, yeah, well, I'm a worm farmer, and how I got into that is I had to dig worms out of the pots where my marijuana plants are, and because they were eating some of my leaves. And have you ever seen a worm that's high? Oh man, let me tell you what it is. It's one of the funniest things you'll ever see. That they start out, they're real stiff, and then after they eat a little bit of that marijuana leaf, then they kind of go, all over the damn place, and and if you look real close, if you take like a magnifying glass and you look real close, you'll see that their eyes are glazed over and they're got kind of a shit-eating grin, It's kind of an experiment of mine, but yeah, that's me. I'm Terry. Now they'll remember all that. They're gonna say, "Oh shit, Terry, whoa, gee, man. Well, let's see if we can get through the rest of the week, and we'll have to tell Terry we don't need him at any more of these, or we just won't call him back." So that there's a reason why I'm telling you to do all this stuff. It's important to know all these. So so team building. So you're going to talk about things that are supposed to be important to working together, and they're going to trick you. They're going to say, okay, well, we need to know what's the best way we can all work together. But what they're really looking for is they're looking for cost-saving ideas, and some idiot at your table's probably going to come up with something, and they're going, "Oh, well, let's all talk about that," and now you're stuck there for a week talking about that, So be careful. Just be careful, okay? So now, although these team building things, they're masqueraded as team building, they always turn into these continuous improvement sessions, like I said. Okay, so keep that in mind. It's coming. It may not be the first day, and it might not be the second day, but eventually that's what it's going to be. You're going to be doing work for the people on the fourth floor. The stuff that they should be coming up with, you're going to be coming up with it at $15 an hour. So keep that in mind. All right. So that's the first part. The second part is that while you are away from your regular job, and let's say your regular job is working on a lathe that's turning screws, or maybe your job is doing inventory, or whatever. So while you're away doing this, someone else is screwing things up for you when you return. It never fails. 9 times out of 10, they don't know they're screwing things up. But there's always that other 1% that they do it on purpose. So this is, again, know the people you're working with, okay? So if you know that Pete over here is going to be doing your job while you're gone, and you know that Pete is nothing but a clown, just be prepared. Things are going to be so screwed up when you get back to your regular job. I mean, it's going to be a freaking disaster. So just be prepared to take another week just to get things the way they're supposed to be. Now remember, you're only making $15 an hour, $7.50, whatever. So take your time. Don't rush into this. Take your time, get things back to where they're supposed to be. But I'm just warning you that will happen. It happens quite frequently, by the way. So bottom line here is this: you're getting paid to come up with ideas and talk it out with others. In a really cold room where they got pitchers of water on the table and little bowls of these treats. And usually they're like those little Hershey candy bars and little Three Musketeers or whatever, And so if you are not at least a borderline diabetic at the end of the week, then you really didn't participate much. So remember that, okay? Oh, and to add insult to injuries, they in the first thing in the morning they usually have like a whole plate full of donuts and pastries or whatever. You gotta have like 3 or 4 of those before you even get started, right? So keep that in mind. Borderline diabetes is how should I say this? It's not fun because your doctor will try to put you on a diet that you won't follow, but you'll lie to people and say, well, I'm on this new diet now. I gotta, because I have this, I'm borderline diabetic and all this kind of stuff. So you lie to people saying, so I have to eat my vegetables and stuff like that. But when they're not around, you're still eating the crap. You're still eating the Three Musketeers and shit like that. My thing is cookies. I love cookies, but I always ask. In the past, I always ask, where's the fucking cookies? There's no. You got donuts here, but you don't have any damn cookies. And the next day they'll bring in cookies. Keep that in mind. Now, if you're following along here with what I'm saying, then by now you should have a true understanding that I am completely out of my fucking mind. But that's okay. Just listen, and we'll get through this together. Okay. I'm gonna need a little help sometimes. Speaking of help, when I started this thing, I had people helping me, I think I brought this up in a short that I did, but they all left me, and now you know why. Now you get it, right? You understand. So we're all on the same page. Okay. So so that's the bottom line. That's why you were there. Um, so I can tell you for a fact that if you come up with some crazy shit, like I said, then usually for the rest of the week they'll leave you alone. But if not, for the rest of your career, they'll leave you alone, and that's the best way to do it. It's easy. It's easy. Just follow my lead, and we'll get through this. So here you go. Here's your assignment from me. Remember, working in a team atmosphere is a way to streamline processes. Ooh. Okay, the company saves money, and you're just part of this well-oiled machine. You get more work done in less time, and you don't make any more money than you did when you came in on Monday for this team building bullshit. Okay, so remember that part, because that's pretty important. So you don't make any more money than you did when you were approached by some asshole from HR. So if you ever get drafted into one of these deals, here's what I want you to do. I got a three point lesson here for you. Okay. So if you ever get drafted in this trap, do this. One, and I'll wait for you to get a pen or a pencil and a piece of paper, because you got to write this down. This is important. Okay, is everybody ready? You got your writing utensils and your scratch paper. Here we go. Number one, act excited and smile as you accept this assignment, because remember, this is from HR. They're going to be looking for a smile. So you say, yeah, I'd like to thank you for thinking of me, and that will that's their cue to now walk away, and let you just live in your misery for the next few days until this team building thing starts. Number two, don't shower. Don't brush your teeth for at least, or try to anyway, at least a week out. Because when you walk in that door and you trust me, after not showering and brushing your teeth for a week, nobody wants to sit around you. At least they don't want to even participate with you. So it's going to be a nice quiet week for you, hopefully, if all of that goes well. And the last one, number three, on the first day, show up late and act confused. Now, they already have your name in this whole thing. They, in fact, sometimes put on a little brochure together, who's all in this thing and everything. They don't want to change that up. They don't want to have to go back to the printer and say, crap, I got to take Terry's name out of this thing. Now look at him. Just do that. Just show up and just act like, is this the right line to have my driver's license renewed or something like that? And that will inform them of who you are at that time, and they'll put you in a group. But that group, after they heard you walk in the door and smell you, of course, they're going to know how to arrange the chairs around this table where you're going to participate in. And now here's number four. And I didn't have a number 4 up until just now. It just popped into my head. Have some cheese in your notebook. So when you open up your notebook, you got this cheese, and don't have it in a wrapper. Just have it out there. And of course, they're going to see this cheese just got, just got the big hunk of cheese on top of this paper. And of course, the grease from the cheese, it just filters through all the paper and stuff, and gets everything all. So you can't now. They see that. They don't want you taking notes, so they'll ask somebody else in the group to take notes. So these are the things that you need to do to be prepared for anything, anytime somebody comes up and asks you to be a part of these team building events. Now, this is what usually happens, but there are times when they are actually team building events where they take you to a paintball cave or I don't know, a swimming pool or a firing range or a war zone or something. They want to see how you interact with other people. Boy, you'd be really lucky if you don't get chosen for one of those, because, ooh, man, I could tell you nightmare stories about. I still got marks all over my body from that paintball deal. Oh man, I swear to this day that there was something more in that than paintball, and I don't know why, but it seemed like everybody was shooting at me. So that's our episode for today, folks, and I hope you learned everything you could possibly learn to prepare yourself for anything like this that comes your way. I'll be your guru for situations like this. All right, I'll be your guru. Now, I'm glad we got through this podcast relatively unscathed so far. I want you to be prepared for our next podcast, which will be Thursday of this week. I'll post it online Thursday of this week. And again, I'm going to have to pre-record the damn thing because they don't trust me. But I'll pre-record it. I'll get it out there for you. But the next, on Thursday, what we're going to talk about is gym class, and this is kind of a very important one to a lot of people, because when we talk about gym class, everybody has a different thought in their head what gym class should be, and a thought in their head what gym class turned out to be. So that's going to be fun, okay? I've got some great ideas for that. And then next week, I'm planning on for Monday, I'm planning on recording with a friend of mine, my friend Molly, and I want to talk about marijuana. And Molly and I have some ideas about marijuana that will blow your mind. I'm telling you right now, it'll be great. You're going to love that one too. So this Thursday, we're going to talk about gym class. Monday, we're going to talk about marijuana, or weed, puff, smoke, or whatever, blunt, whatever you want to call it. So I'm really glad you sat here with me and listened to me stutter and all this other crap that I do that is the reason why nobody would hire me to really do this kind of shit. But I'm glad you were here. So hey, join the group, and like and share. Don't forget to share. You got your point right over there. Share. Please get this thing out there, because the more people that know about this and like it and everything, the more I'm going to be able to go live with you, and you could see all my errors of my ways, and that'll be fun. That's even more fun. So let's do that. So thanks again, and I'll see you all on Thursday.